Hey YouTube, it's Angela from Grounded Dreamers. Here we are. We're going to do a general energy update. This is going to be for the week of May 30th. And let's take I pulled one oracle card and we're going to take that guidance and pull a little spread using the Zen deck to clarify it. But the card I got, it's from an animal messages type of a deck. And I got the wolf. So the wolf is, instinct, our inner wisdom, and it's talking about listening to your inner wisdom, and that allows you to enjoy the gift of freedom. So just making that shift from external sources guiding us, which is important at times, right? We want to listen to our elders and those that came before us and people with experience and, certain sets of rules that we live by, but adhering to them blindly without really taking into account our own intuition and what feels right for us inside. That's a different thing, right? We want to incorporate all of it. We want to integrate all the sources of information along with our intuition in order to move forward. And that's where, as this card explains, the true freedom lies. Okay, so we're going to pull a quick little Zen spread here to go with that the vibration of the wolf, which is our intuitive abilities. And let me just get these set here for you. I'm just going to do a basic, let's see. I guess I'll do 2 levels of 3. Okay, so you know me, I like to have my certain little spreads that work for me. So let me see if I can get these all to fit. Okay, so the cards we pulled are here. And this as it pertains to the energy of the wolf. So remember with my little spreads, I'm going to call this the tree again. This is our first set of branches. Current energy, internal support or intuitive energy that supports this starting point here, and then how it manifests in our exterior world. Then the key to moving forward. And then this is our new level of awareness, landing space, internal, external, kind of the same pattern there. So where do we start? Well, okay. So as it pertains to tuning in, listening to our inner wisdom and our intuition, we got turning in. So meditative space, taking time out to just sit and be and breathe and listen to what it is that is guiding us. That's the first step. Well, obviously, it's funny how that one came up first. And while we're reading these, I want you to sort of tune into a situation or situations that have you feeling challenged, that maybe you're indecisive about, or you're fearful of, trying something new, going out to meet new friends, meet new people, all of that requires our instinct to be, to be in our backpack sort of, and carry it along with us as we move into new situations or move toward that, which we want. And this could also just be in any moment that, oh, I don't know what decision to make. How do I know? And then we follow this process, right? The first thing we do is turn in. We don't go out and poll all of our friends and ask, take surveys and find out, what do you think about this? What do you think? That does help. It helps to get feedback. But the very first step is the tuning in. The very first step is to be with your inner being. Okay. And this card's interesting because she is meditating. She's tuned in. The water beneath her represents all of her feelings about, the feelings that are arising and the feelings that are involved. But then look above her head. She's haunted a little. She's got all these thoughts and all these other beings and a little bit of darkness hovering over her, yet she remains unchanged. She remains unmoved because she has all she needs within, right? Okay, so that's our first step. Internal energy that supports this process of tuning in when we need guidance is our mind. So we know, I love this because this is an overactive mind, if you see that photo. But the first thing that I got when I turned that card over was, our mind must work in concert with our feelings, right? We don't ignore all of the thoughts and ideas that our mind has to provide. But if it's not backed up by our intuition and by our deep sense of knowing what's right for us, then we're all that. It's all this. It's all. It does turn into this chaos, right? So they must work together. You know, the way we feel about something and our intuition and our inner being must work in concert with our mind. This is more of a lower mental vibration as far as I'm reading it, as you know, what I'm receiving on it. It's one of the more reactive ways that our mind works, or all the what ifs and all the should, woulds, and coulds and all that go on in our mind. But we are anchored by, since this is our starting point with this turning in card, we're anchored by our inner being and what is right for us. Our mind can chatter, but we know how to balance it, or we're learning how to balance it. We don't always know, but we're learning that. So as long as we can stay aware of the thoughts that are guiding us, as we also tune in to how those possibilities make us feel, how those directives make us feel. That's the combination there. That's the winning 1-2 punch there. And then in your external world, yeah, that creates a more receptivity. Once you get these two aligned, then you're open to receiving messages from the divine, messages from, you know, authorities and people that know better, people that are experienced. You're open to hearing other thoughts and ideas. You're open to receiving new information. But these two factors must be aligned first, and they must be solid, right? Or at least on their way to being solid. I know that nothing's 100%, but we have to at least feel that they're working together, the way we feel and the what we think. And as those are working together, that creates an open channel for us to receive new information and make new decisions with that instinct of the wolf, right? Okay, moving forward, and this card is the key to moving forward. Like we always say, it's usually the pivot. We got suppression. So this is a call to unearth all that weighted down, old, dusty information, old feelings, things that are deep seated within us, to start to like crack that open and let that come up, because that's weighing us down. That's kind of acting like an anchor to hold us in place, right? All our old beliefs. Oh, but it used to be this way. This is the way it always has to be because it always has been. That's old, dusty thinking, right? We want to dust it off and let it arise and let it come out of us so that we can wash it away and do away with it and come back to this balanced spot of being guided by our intuition, letting our mind and our feelings work together, you know, our thoughts and our feelings to work together to move us forward, but being willing also to address, unearth, and do away with the old information. This could also be feelings of resentment or unprocessed feelings which, you know, as we all know, can really pile up within us if we don't address and we don't express and let it out. Okay. So even just having the willingness to look at some of that old stuff and to one at a time, choose those things which are no longer serving us, just one at a time, let it up and out, feel it and let it go. It doesn't have to be all done at once. It doesn't have to all be done in a week, right? It's a process, but as they arise, as the old information and the old dusty feelings arise, let them up instead of pushing them back down. Okay. All right. Then when we start to master that with the intuitive work that we're doing, it lands us in a new place. Breakthrough. I love this so much. It lands us into a place where literally everything that was being held down, or one at a time, those things that are being held down are released, coming out. This breakthrough card really depicts a lot of third chakra, self-empowerment, busting open the center of our being, and being able to make a clearing so that we can process and move forward. I love how this is coming out. So we started out with, how do we tap into our instinct? How do we listen to our inner being, right? It starts with taking the thoughts and the feelings and letting them both be present, creating an openness to receive new ways, new thoughts, new situations, and seeing how that makes us feel and being able to incorporate that. And then we need to make room for it by letting go some of the old stuff, right? And letting it up and out and express out and release, fully release out of our physical being and our energetic being. Okay. This breakthrough card here is your next level of awareness. That is, wow, I was able to work that, right? I had this problem, I had this issue, I was indecisive. I listened to a few pros and cons, and then I tapped into how that makes me feel, this new issue. I stayed open for the signs. I took away my old paradigms, a couple of them. I used to look at this issue in this way, but I let those go and I let those release. And now I'm in a new level. I've got a clearing. I've got a personal clear space now from which to operate and move forward on this decision or on this new experience or new encounter. Internally, the breakthrough card is backed up by ordinariness. So within you, you get that once this clearing is made, once that revelation has been achieved, we can rest for a minute, right? We can breathe it out. This is that sort of day in, day out, chop wood, carry water kind of a vibe. Let's just move through, the fields of our day with ease and with a certain quiet pace, right? So once we clean house energetically within us, we can find a sense of normalcy. Then when we're in that new level of awareness and new way of being, with this cleared out energy being kind of the status quo, right? The norm of our day, then in our external world, it allows for things to fall away fully. It allows these suppressed ideas or these old ways that we used to approach things to really leave our experience fully. We have the breakthrough and the clearing. We have that settlement period right after it to kind of like sit with it and vibe that out and feel how that feels, to release some of that old stuff. And then we get to wash it away cleanly. We get to say goodbye to those old energies and those old feelings that had us stuck. This reading could not have come out any better for us as far as that inner guide. That sometimes we think, oh, I don't have any intuition. I don't know what that means. Or when people use their intuition, I don't get how they're doing it or whatever. Everyone has it. Everyone has that ability to tap in. And really what it's connected to is how a certain thing makes you feel. And by being able to be in touch with our feelings, but by clearing out that, logjam that's inside of us energetically, but being able one by one to address feelings as they arise and feel them without pushing them down or pushing them away or skipping over. Feel this is that sort of ordinariness vibe. It's like, be in it, be in that field. Even if the feeling doesn't feel so great, it's okay, because it's there to teach you something. Okay. But being able to practice this, little by little, one by one, it eventually creates a way of being where you encounter an issue, a decision to be made, or a conflict that comes upon you, or a roadblock in your progress. You come upon an issue like that, and instead of resisting, pushing against, trying to, mathematically figure out, what are the stats and how do I move through this? All you need to do is be with it. Here's this conflict. Here's this thing that's been put in my path. What is my feeling response? What is my feeling response? Most of us want to lash out. Most of us want to make a decision and and react right away. But really, the true response is to go within and wait. And then inquire, what feelings is this bringing up in me? Is this something that feels comfortable? If I choose to lash out against this conflict, does that empower me, or does that make me feel disempowered and off my center? It could change with each situation. Some things may make us feel more empowered to kind of go, hey, no, this isn't how it's going to go. And sometimes it's more of a response that we want to just wait it out, let it fade away, and then move through it, right? And just let it be there. And then sometimes it comes on and we want to say, oof, it's really uncomfortable for me to approach this head on, but maybe I can find a little way, a diverted path around it. Maybe I can gather some more information that helps me skirt, what's going on here. But always it's to stop and pause and see how this is making you feel. That's the key to tapping into your intuition. It's just really a listening and allowing the feeling to be there. But many of us as human beings, we're in this suppressed energy. I know I have been, and I still can at times, right? Even though my intuition is developed and developing more and more as life goes on, I still have stuff that needs to be unearthed. We all do, right? But when you have this balance of tuning in, taking in a couple new ideas or listening to your thoughts and then staying open to the new, when you have this going on, then when this stuff comes up and the old dusty feelings, like I like to say, start to arise, we can welcome it. Because really, especially if it's old stuff, yes, it brings up, in a lot of cases, it brings up some trauma, some triggers. But this state of mindfulness and of present moment awareness reminds us we are safe in this moment. So even the feelings that come up that don't feel so good, we are still safe in this very moment. That's the distinction, right? And then that's where the breakthroughs come. That's where you get to go, oh yeah, I allowed this bad memory or bad old feeling to come through. I allowed it in and it didn't harm me. I actually feel lighter. I was able to express it out, however it is that you do it. You could be a creative, you could be a talker like me. You could be just, doing some vision work and imagining it, that old nasty feeling dissipating from you. There's all kinds of ways, but approaching it and allowing it to be there is the first step. And then comes the breakthrough and the shedding and the moving on and the true growth. It all comes following after that. Okay, thank you so much for being with me still. And I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.